Mr. Kravits.
Good evening. I'm Ed Kravits. I'm the editor of SaveIV.com, your favorite website. We are anti-incumbent. For those of you at home, we've been trying to get this streaming video, but the city manager won't put it on agenda. So basically, he is circumventing our constitutional rights to due process. The reason for the balloons is this situation has arisen here in the last week where, well, for a number of years, I've heard a lot of complaints from people about overbearing code enforcement, rules, regulations, fines. A city councilwoman had a fundraiser this last week, and the person that was throwing the party was cited for having balloons. I think when staff can intimidate a sitting council person, it kind of shows that the staff has more power than the council people do. It was brought to my attention that there was a fundraiser for Mr. Spriggs this last weekend, and there were balloons at that event too. And in attendance was your code enforcement officer, who apparently was enjoying the food and beverages there and never saw the balloons. A balloon is a sign of freedom. You're going to see a lot of balloons in the next 2 weeks because it symbolizes the overbearing policies of this city. You folks are more interested in collecting money from the people of this city than providing the services and the democracy that they want. And that's the reason why so many people are challenging you for the mayor's position, Mr. Janney. And that's why this is probably going to be one of the last council meetings I'll get a chance to see all 5 of you, because there's going to be a whole new council here except for Mr. King, if Mr. King doesn't go to jail. Now, the last thing I want to say, or I'll try and make it the last thing if my time doesn't run out. I'm very disappointed that I haven't been able to provide the streaming video of these council meetings to the people of Imperial Beach. And this city has done everything it can do to avoid the issue, to avoid putting it on agenda. I'm sure you're aware now that I do have it streaming through other means, but not by the cooperation of this city. Diane Rose, you've been here for 12 years and now another 2, and you haven't been able to complete your job. You guys are going to put the city in debt for another $24 million. You haven't accomplished anything except give away $20 million to Colton Sudbury and Ashes Ronnie. You haven't completed a single project. You have nothing to show except a demolished hotel, which apparently you're getting ready to spend taxpayer money to buy in closed session. You know what? That money is being diverted from schools, streets, police, fire. The RDA needs to end, and your entire staff needs to be terminated. And I hope that this next election is a lesson to you, and I hope that the people at home will vote for all the opposition candidates and have a new start in Imperial Beach. Because what we've seen here for the last 4 years has been secret, closed session, agendas published in the paper after the meetings.
Your time is up, Mr. Kravitz.
So is yours, Mr. Janney.
You know, I would prefer that people in the audience conduct themselves as this is a governmental meeting and it is a representation of how democracy does work in the United States. For those of you who know, because we are on Channel 24, the City Council took action earlier this year. We did discuss the streaming videos. It was made a decision to go forward with putting it on our provider, Cox Communications, back in March of this year. Mr. Kravitz was given this information later on that year when he asked for it in May of this year. He keeps coming forward and accusing this council of doing something differently. If one would go to the city's website, which is publicly available on the internet, including across the street at the county library, they would find that the agenda states that we took action to put it on the local cable service. By Mr. Kravitz, you do not have the right to speak.
I asked you
You do not
streaming it to me, and you never
Mr.
did.
Kravitz, we took action.
Never did.
If you do not ask,
I'm going. You never did it. You refused to give me
Mr.
my
Kravitz,
constitutional
Mr.
rights
Kravitz,
and the people of Imperial Beach.
I'm asking you to leave the chambers.
I'm leaving.
Mr. King, please.
Yes. Just for all you in the audience and for the council as well. We made a difficult decision. We know that we wanted to make our meetings public. There are a couple of factors involved. Cost is one. But we took the first step, which was let's put it on public TV and make the meetings public. That's what Mr. Kravitz seems to overlook, that in fact the meetings are televised, they can be accessed. We can't meet everybody's demand to have something the way they want it, and we made an informed decision in terms of the cost, in terms of the timing, and we did what was an appropriate action for how to make these meetings public, to the entire public. And one of the things that everyone should be aware of is that not everyone has a computer, not everyone knows how to access a computer. And we're actually providing, at this point in time, a good source of information. That may change in the future when we revisit this issue, but I think that the comments that are made here are very directed and they're very incendiary. And I just want to clear the records that we have moved in what is an appropriate action, and we have made ourselves public. And our meetings are all public. So I think there's a lot of misinformation going around from Mr. Kravitz.
If I can't afford
Thank
Cox
you.
Cable, I can't watch.
Mr.
the
Kravitz,
council
you do
meeting.
not have the floor.